My, that kitchen's hot.
What, Essie?
See, that kitchen's awful hot. That new candy I'm baking just won't ever get cool.
Oh, do you have to make candy today, Essie? It's such a hot day.
Oh, well, I got all those new orders. Everyone else got a bunch of new orders.
Oh, my, I suppose if it keeps on, you'll be opening up a store.
That's what I was saying last night. But I said no. I want to be a dancer.
The only trouble with dancing is it takes so long. You've been studying such a long time.
Only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays for 8 years. We started about the same time, didn't we?
Yes, but you shouldn't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I think the candy's hardening up now, Miss Essie. Oh, thanks, Reba. I'll bring some in for you, Mother. I want you to try it. Finish the second act, Mrs. Sycamore?
What?
I said to finish the second act.
Oh, no. I just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
Oh, she was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she?
Well, she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club, and there's this monastery, so she goes there.
Did they let her in?
Oh, yes. I made it Visitor's Day, so of course anybody can come. She arrives on Visitor's Day and just stays.
You mean she stays all night?
Oh, yes. She stays 6 years.
6 years? My, I bet she bust that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mr. DePina?
Yeah!
Mr. DePina, will you please bring up one of your skyrockets? I want to show them to Mrs. Sycamore.
Sure!
Look, Penny, what do you think of these new little firecrackers we just made? We can sell them 10 strips for a cent. Listen. Nice, huh?
Yes. Paul, dear, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. But wait until you see the new skyrockets. Blue stars, then gold stars, and then bombs, and then a balloon. Mr. DePina thought of the balloon.
It sounds lovely. Did you do all that today?
Oh, sure, we made up. Oh, here we are. Look, Penny, what do you think? Cost us 18 cents to make, and we can sell them for 50. How many do you figure we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. DePina?
Well, we got 2 weeks yet. What day are you going to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon?
About a week. You know we're going to need a larger booth this year. Got a lot of stuff made up. Come on, we're not through yet.
Oh, look, Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid that the powder chamber is a little bit too close to the bloom.
Oh, but we got the stars and the bombs in between.
But that don't give the bloom time enough. The bloom needs plenty of time.
Come on, let's go down to the cellar and try it.
All right.
Oh, Mr. DePina, if a girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Sycamore. It's been so long.
Miss Alice going to be home for dinner tonight, Mrs. Sycamore?
I don't know, Reba, maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her. She's only been home one night this week.
Yes, I know.
Miss Essie's making some mighty good candies today. She's trying something new with coconuts.
That's nice.
Let's see, we've got 6 of Mr. DePina. If Mr. Kalenkoff comes, that makes 8, right? Guess I better set the 8.
Reba, I think I'll put this play away for a while and go back to my war play.
Oh, I always like that one, the war play. Boom, boom.
They'll be better when they're hard, Mother, but try one. I want to know what you Oh, think. they look lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them love dreams.
Yes, that's nice. I'm going back to my war play, Essie. What do you think?
Oh, are you, Mother?
Yes, I sort of got myself into a monastery, and I can't get out.
Oh, well, it'll come to you, Mother. Remember how you got out of that brothel?
Snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them? I don't know. Reba, did you feed the snakes yet?
Oh, no. Donald's coming over, and he always brings flies with him.
We'll try to feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and take Groucho and Harpo into the kitchen with you. Oh. Believe I'll have another love dream.
Mr. DePina was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Want a love dream, Father? They're on the table.
Oh, no thanks. I gotta wash.
I'm going back to my war play, Paul.
That's nice. We're putting some red stars after the bombs and then a balloon. That ought to do it.
You know, Mr. Kalenkoff says I'm his most promising pupil. You would think that with 40 months and 1 girl, something would happen.
Essie, hey, Essie.
I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
Lovely. How about a U in it? I made those new candies this afternoon, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take them around tonight.
All right. Now here's the finish. This is me. How's that?
That's fine. Remember when Blankoff comes, will you? Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby?
Oh,
I was thinking of it just the other day.
well, but if you want us to. What about it, Essie? Do you want us to have a baby?
Oh, I don't care. I'm willing if Grandpa is.
Let's ask him.
Labor play, religious play, sex play. Is there someplace?
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the tower.
Anything you want printed, Mr. DePinna? How about some more calling cards?
Oh, no thanks. I still got the first announcement.
Well, call on somebody, will you?
All right.
What do we have for dinner, Reba? I'm ready to print the menu.
Well, let's see, we've got cornflakes, watermelon, some of those candies Essie made, and some kind of meat, I forget.
I think I'll set up in Boldface Cheltenham tonight. You know, if I'm going to be taking those new candies around, I better print up some descriptive matter after dinner.
Do you think anybody reads those things, Ed, that you put in the candies? Oh, here's my wordplay. Poison gas. I guess that's Donald. Look at Reba smile.
The boyfriend, eh, Reba?
They're awfully cute, Donald and Reba. Sort of like Rat and Scarlet.
Hello, Reba.
Donald.
Evening, everybody.
Hi, Donald. How have you been?
Doing pretty good, Mr. Ed. How you been, Mrs. Sycamore?
Very well, thanks, Donald. Oh, Donald,
Yes, ma'am.
were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go no place much. I'm on relief.
Ah, yes, of course.
Got some supplies, Reba. Got a big mess of them today.
You sure did.
I see you've been working, Mrs. Sycamore.
Yes, indeed, Donald.
How's your grandpa?
Just fine. He's over at Columbia this afternoon, the commencement exercises.
Nah. Years to do roll round.
N-E-A-T. What's he go there for all the time, Penny?
Oh, I don't know. It's just so handy, right around the corner.
Oh, Donald, Mr. DePin and I are taking fireworks up to Mount Vernon next week. Do you think you can give us a hand?
Yes, sir. Only I can't take the money for it this year, because if the government finds out I'm working, they'll get sold.
Ed, I had a wonderful idea in the bathroom just now. I was reading Trotsky. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know, Trotsky, the Russian Revolution.
Oh.
Anyhow, I thought it was a great fireworks idea. Remember the last day of Pompeii?
Of course. Palisades Park is where we met.
Well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full-hour display.
Say!
Oh, that's wonderful.
Where fires the flag, huh?
Oh, sure, and the Tsar and the Cossacks.
And the freeing of the slaves?
Oh, no, Donald, the Russian Revolution. Oh, hello, Grandpa.
Well, sir, you should have been there. That's all I can say. You should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Wonderful. They get better every year. You don't know how lucky you are, you snakes.
Big classes, your grandpa? How many were there?
Oh, must have been 2 acres. Everybody graduated. And much funnier speeches than they had last year.
You want to listen to a good speech, you go up and hear Father Divine.
I'll wait. They'll have them at Columbia.
Donald, please tell Reba that Grandpa's home now and we won't wait for Miss Alice.
Yes, ma'am. Reba, Grandpa's home. We can have dinner.
Oh, we made a new skyrocket today, Grandpa. Wait until you see it.
Evening, Grandpa.
Even Mr. DePina.
Didn't we make a fine rocket today, Mr. DePina?
We certainly did.
I wonder why they don't have fireworks at commencement.
Don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement orator and they'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks. And save just as much, too.
Don't the graduates ever say anything?
No, they just sit in their cap and nightgown, get their diplomas, and then along about 40 years from now, they suddenly say, "Where am I?"
Hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Don't I even good?
Excuse me, Grandpa.
I'll take a tomato.
Father?
Oh, no thanks.
You know, I could have used a couple of these this afternoon.
Mother? No thanks, dear.
Play something, Ed.
All right.
There's a letter come to you, Grandpa. Did you get it?
Letter for me? I don't know anybody.
Here you go. Has your name on it.
That's funny. Where is it?
I don't know. Where's Grandpa's letter, Mother? What, dear? Where's that letter that came for Grandpa last week?
Oh no, I remember seeing the kittens on it.
Ellie, did you notice who it was?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Well, who was it?
United States government.
Oh, really? I wonder what they wanted.
There was one before that, too. From the same people. There was a couple of them.
Well, next time you get some, I wish you'd tell me about it.
Yes, Grandpa.
You know, I think I'm gonna go to Winchester tomorrow and do a little snake hunting.
God is the state is God.
What's that?
God is the state is God.
Who said that?
Trotsky.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you said it.
That's nice for printing, you know, good and short. G-O-D space I-S space D-H-E space.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her mother and her father and her grandfather.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Grandpa. What do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprised?
Oh, Alice, I like it.
Do you?
It's new, isn't it? Looks nice and summery. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
We've been taking a lot of walks lately. That's the second new dress this week.
I just like to brighten up the office once in a while. I'm known as the Kay Francis of Caribbean Code. Well, what's new around here in the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, or fireworks? Dad, I'll bet you've been down in that cellar all night. I'm going back to my war play, Alice. Really, Mother?
Ed, play Alice that Beethoven thing you wrote.
You know, you can mail a letter all the way from Nicaragua now for 2 pesos.
Really?
And my virginity is a priceless thing to me. Listen, people, listen. I'm not home to dinner. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really? Who is it? Why, isn't that exciting?
I did everything I could to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Well, why don't the two of you stay to dinner?
No, I want him to take you in easy doses. I've tried to prepare him a little, but don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him any plays, Mother. And don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I wouldn't dance for him, Essie, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Can't do anything, huh? Who is he? President of the United States?
No, he is Vice President of Kirby & Co., Mr. Anthony Kirby, Jr.
The boss's son?
The
Hello!
boss's son, just like the movies.
That explains the new dresses.
Walking home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes?
Are you going to marry him?
Oh, of course. Tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go up and put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Yes. In a word.
Oh dear, what time was it?
Oh, I don't know. Anybody know what time it is?
Mr. DePetto might know.
Oh, it was about 5 o'clock, a couple of hours ago.
I ought to know better than to ask you people. Will you let me know the minute he comes, please?
Of course, Alice.
Yes, I know, but I mean the minute he comes.
Why, of course.
Well, be sure.
What do you think of that?
He seems to like them, if you ask me.
I should say, she's got it bad. Wouldn't it be wonderful if she married him? We could have the wedding right here in this room.
Now, wait a minute, Penny. This is the first time he's ever called for the girl.
You only called for me once.
Well, young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Look at me. He came to dinner once and just stayed. Anyhow, I think it's wonderful, don't you, Grandpa?
Yeah, she certainly seems happy about it.
He must be crazy about her. And he's the one who's been taking her out every night. Oh, there he is. Never mind, Grandpa. I'll answer it. Remember what she said. Be very nice to him.
All right, let's take a look at him.
Well, welcome to our little home.
How do you do?
I'm Alice's mother. Come right in. Here we are. This is Alice's grandpa, and Alice's father, and Alice's sister, and her husband, Ed Carmichael. There, now, give me your hat and make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
Who's that?
My card.
Wilma C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
Well, what can we do for you?
Does a Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government would like to speak to you about the little matter of income tax.
Income tax?
Do you mind if I sit down?
No, just go right ahead.
Thank you.
Marie? Oh, no, it isn't, darling. It's an internal something or other. Pardon me.
Mrs. Sycamore. Oh, excuse me.
What is it?
Oh, well, these things are not going up. Look.
Ooh, not here, Mr. DePina. Grandpa's busy. Pardon me.
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, we have written you several letters about this, but have not had any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government. According to our records, Mr. Vanderhoff, you have never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And you receive a yearly income from it.
I do.
Between $3,000 and $4,000.
About that.
You've been receiving it for years.
I have. 1901, if you want the exact date.
Well, the government is only concerned with 1914 on. That's when the income tax started.
Well,
Well, it appears, Mr. Vanderhoff, that you owe the government 24 years in back income tax.
Wait a minute. You can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
And what's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever filed an income tax return?
No, ma'am.
And what was your income last year?
$28.50, wasn't it, Essie?
Yes, sir, ma'am. If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, I'm sure you're aware there is a penalty for not paying income tax.
Penalty?
look, Mr. Henderson, let me ask you something.
Yes.
Suppose I pay you this money. Now, mind you, I don't say I'm going to pay it, but just for the sake of argument, what's the government going to do with it?
How do you mean?
Well, what do I get for my money? If I go to Macy's and buy something, there it is. I see it. What's the government going to give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you
From what?
from invasion, from foreigners that might come over here and take everything you've got.
Oh, I don't think they're going to do that.
If you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you think the government keeps up the Army and the Navy? All those battleships.
Last time we used a battleship was in the Spanish-American War. When did we get out of it? Cuba. And we gave that back. Now, I wouldn't mind if it was for something sensible.
Sensible. Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Now, with my money, no sir.
Now, listen here. I am not here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid your income tax and you've got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you anything. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for long ago. And as far as interstate commerce, what is interstate commerce anyhow?
There are 48 states, see? And if there weren't for interstate commerce, nothing would get from one state to another, see?
Why not? They got fences?
No! They haven't got fences! They've got laws! My God, I've never come across anything like this before!
I think I'll pay about $75, but that's all it's worth.
You'll pay every cent, just like everybody else.
Listen, Essie, listen to this a minute.
And let me tell you something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Do you hear that? Because that's the law. And if you think you're bigger than the law, you've got another thing coming. You're no better than everyone else. And the sooner you get that through your head, the better. You'll hear from the United States government. That's all I can say.
Look out for those snakes.
How was that, Essie?
Fine, Ed.
How did that sound to you folks?
I liked it.
My goodness, she was mad, wasn't she?
It's not her fault. Everything is just so silly.
Oh, she forgot her hat.
Say, what size is that hat?
7 and an 8.
Ah, just right for me.
Who is that gal anyway?
Oh, this must be Mr. Kirby.
Oh, better make sure this time.
Yes, I will.
I hope he's good looking.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Is this Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Kirby, come right in. Come right in. We've been expecting you. This is really Mr. Kirby. Now, I'm Alice's mother. This is Mr. Sycamore, and Alice's grandfather, and her sister Essie, and Essie's husband. There, now you know all of us, Mr. Kirby. Now give me your hat and make yourself right at home.
Oh, thank you.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Oh, yes, Alice, it is. He is lovely.
I'll be right down.
Oh, do be seated, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, thank you. I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
No, have a tomato.
No, thank you.
How about a piece of candy?
Oh, no, thanks.
Oh, I forgot to introduce Mr. DePina. This is Mr. DePina, Mr. Kirby.
Wasn't I reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? Wasn't he indicted or something?
Well, hardly that. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
You see, I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, Mr. DePina. As a matter of fact, Alice has often told us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, I know Father couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about the business than any of us.
You're awful young, aren't you, Mr. Kirby, to be vice president of a big place like that?
Well, you know what that means, Vice President. All I have is a desk with my name on it.
Is that all? Don't you get any salary?
Well, a little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
No, you're just being modest.
Sounds kind of dull to me, Wall Street. Do you like it?
Well, the hours are short, and I haven't been there very long.
Oh, just out of college, huh?
That's right. I knocked around for a bit, just sort of had fun.
What did you do? Travel?
Well, I went to Cambridge for a year.
Ooh, Kingland. Ooh.
That's
Hey, what's an English commencement like? Did you see any?
Very impressive.
Oh, they are, huh?
That's right. Anyhow, now the fun's over, and I'm facing the world.
Oh, well, you certainly got a great start, Mr. Kirby. Vice president and a rich father.
Oh, that's hardly my fault.
Well, now I suppose you're all ready to settle down and get married.
Oh, come now, Penny. I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows his own mind.
Well, I wasn't making up his own mind for him, was I, Mr. Kirby?
Yeah, it's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
You see, you mustn't rush your mother. All he thinks is that he's bound to get married and suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am at Vision in Blue. Apparently you've had time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes, indeed. We were just having a lovely chat about love and marriage.
Oh dear. I'm so sorry, I came down as fast as I could.
I didn't mind in the least.
Damn those flies in the kitchen. Oh, Miss Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going? I'm going out, Reba. Step. Aww. That must be Mr. Kalenkoff. I think we'd better go, Tony.
All right.
Grandpa, you take cream on your cornflakes, I forget.
A half and half, Donald.
Oh, my little Babishka!
Yes, that's coming up all right.
Mr. Kalenkoff.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Grandpa, what do you think? I have another letter from Russia. The second 5-year plan is a failure.
I practiced today, Mr. Kalenkoff.
Ah, my Pavlova.
Will you excuse us, Mr. Kalenkoff?
My little Alice, never have I seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you. Tony, this is Mr. Kalenkoff, Essie's dancing teacher. Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Will you pardon us, Mr. Kalenkoff? We are going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet. It stinks.
Yes. Well, goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. I'm so glad to have met you all.
Goodbye.
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Come on, everybody, dinner's ready.
I thought he was a nice fellow, didn't you?
And so good looking. Oh, he had such nice manners. Did you notice, Paul? Did you notice his
Oh, I
manners?
certainly did. You were getting pretty personal with him there, Penny.
Now, Paul. And you, how? He was a very nice young man.
He looked like a cousin of mine.
But, the Agnes, then you had the ballet.
I think that if they get married here, I'll put the altar where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Now that the snakes don't.
Oh, no. I want to get married in a church. His family and everything.
Quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, sir, we're getting along quite well for quite a while now. We're certainly much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to keep going and be happy in our own sort of way. Of course, we want to keep our health, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you. So, the second 5-year plan is officially
Of course, his family will come in a minute. I could see them dance every night of the week. I think they're marvelous.
Oh, they are, aren't they? Of course, just walking inside of the theater gives me a thrill.
Well, Tony, it's been so lovely. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
Well, I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Want to come along?
I'd follow you to the ends of the earth.
Just the kitchen is enough.
Why, I like it. You've done it quite simply, haven't you?
Yes, we didn't know whether to do an Empire or Neo-Grecian.
So you settled for Frigidaire.
Yes, it's so easy to live with. Lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes gives you a rough idea of the Sycamores.
Of course, why they make these bottle openers for tiny hands apart. All over my coat.
I'll take mine in a glass, if you don't mind.
There you are, foaming beaker.
And how it's cold.
Now, if you please be seated, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute of this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Terrific. Didn't you read The Good Earth? Well, I suppose I ought to go.
Is it very late?
Oh, very. I don't want to go.
I don't want you to.
All right, I won't. When do you get your vacation?
Last 2 weeks in August.
I might take mine then, too.
Really?
What are you going to do?
I don't know, I hadn't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in the summertime.
I do, too.
But you always go up to Maine, don't you?
That's right. Oh, but I'm sure I would like the city in the summertime. Oh, you know what I mean, Alice. I'd love it if you were here.
Tony, it would be nice if you were here.
Well, you know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend your summer with me than anybody else?
Was I?
Well, if it's true about the summer, how would you feel about the winter?
Yes, I'd like that too.
Then there's spring and autumn. Could see your way clear about those, Miss Signal.
I might.
Well, I guess that's the whole year. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Oh, then.
Alice, is that you here? What time is it?
Mr. Kirby. Oh, excuse me. I have no idea. That is, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
It's quite all right, Mrs.
No, Mother.
I just came down for a manuscript. Then you can go right ahead. Here it is. Sex takes a holiday. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, you can call me Penny. At least I hope so. Isn't that right, Alice?
What's that?
It's all right, Tony. That's Father.
Oh. This time of night?
Any time of night. Any time of day.
You know, you're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anybody else in the whole world.
Don't, Tony.
What? Just because your mother... All mothers are like that, Alice, and Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
It's not that, Tony. Look, this is something I should have said a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage to let myself be swept away because I love you so.
Darling.
No, listen, Tony. I mean to make it clear to you. Look, you're of a whole different world, a whole different kind of people. I don't mean money or socially, that's too silly, but your family and mine, it just wouldn't work, Tony. Just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money, because she can't dance.
Well, I don't call that dancing what she does. Oh, hello! How was the ballet?
It was fine, Essie.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Hello.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, yes, I've always thought so.
What does she even do, anyhow? Now look, you're Fred Astaire and I'm Ginger Rogers.
Essie, please.
I just want to use it for a minute. Now look, Mr. Kirby.
Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
You see, Ed?
Yeah, come on, Essie, we're butting in here.
Oh, they've been together all evening. Good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Good night, Mrs. Carmichael.
Good night. Essie, did you ask Grandpa about us having that baby?
Oh, yes, he said to go right ahead.
Yeah.
You see, Tony, that's what it would be like.
Oh, I didn't mind that. And anyhow, we're not going to live with your family. It's just you and I.
No, it isn't. It's never quite that. Look, Tony, I love them deeply. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're gay and fun, and I don't know. There's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you talk as though only you could understand them. That's not true. Why, Every family has got curious little traits. What of it? My father raises orchids at $10,000 a bulb. Is that sensible? My mother believes in spiritualism. It's just as bad as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago, a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just quit business one day. He started up to his office in the elevator and came right down again. He just stopped. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's just collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them.
Hello there, children.
Good evening, Mr. Bancroft.
Hi, Grandpa.
How's the weather? Looks like a nice summer evening.
It's lovely, Grandpa.
Well, I'm off. Goodbye, Mr. Kirby. I've got a date with the policeman on the corner.
Policeman?
Yes. We got a date 12:30 every evening. I've known him since he was a little boy. He's really a doctor, you know, but he always wanted to be a policeman. So I said, go ahead and be a policeman if that's what you want to be. And that's what he did. How do you like my new hat?
Oh, it's very nice, Mr. Bancroft.
Yeah, I like it. Government gave it to me.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know you folks was in here.
It's all right, Donald.
Reba kind of fancied some candy, now. There it is. Y'all don't want it, do you?
No, Donald.
Thanks. Did you have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Nice dinner?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
Now do you see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't. Tony, you couldn't. I love you, Tony, but I love them too, and it's no use, Tony. It's no use.
Darling, there's only one thing you've said that matters, that makes any sense at all. You love me.
But Tony, I know so well.
Darling, don't you think that other people have had the same problem? Why, everybody's got a family.
Not like mine.
Doesn't stop people who love each other. Darling, won't you trust me and go on loving me and forget everything else?
How can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must know it. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
Of course they do, Tony, but they can't change. I wouldn't want them to change.
They won't have to change. They're charming, lovable people just as they are. Everything will work out. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Tony, am I?
All that matters right now is that we love each other. We do, don't we?
Yes.
Well, now then, I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. Young gentlemen calling and getting engaged and everything.
What should I say?
Well, first you thank the young man for getting engaged too.
Thank you for getting engaged to me, Mr. Kirby.
Well, and then you tell him what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
The back of your head.
Oh,
Uh-huh. It wasn't your charm and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
and what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to it after a while.
I was thinking that we're Pretty lucky, aren't you?
I know that I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Oh, dear, I guess I ought to go. Good night. Till tomorrow.
Good night.
Isn't it wonderful we work in the same office? Otherwise, I'd be hanging around here all day.
Won't it be strange seeing each other in the office and just going on as though nothing had happened?
Thank God I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
You're such a fool.
Why don't you meet me in the drugstore in the morning before you go up to the office? I'll have millions of things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch, and then dinner tomorrow night.
Don't even old people say.
I don't know. It's got to come up sometime. In fact, if you know a good house top, I'd like to do a little shouting.
Yes, sir, Mr. DePena, we did a good night's work.
That is what? 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, and 8 dozen Junior Kitty bombers.
Pretty good. Oh, why, hello, Alice. You just come in?
No, I've been home for quite a while.
Have a nice evening.
I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Say, Alice, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire. Will you turn out the lights, Mr. DePena? I want Alice to get the full effect.
Father?
Take a look at this red fire. It's beautiful. There. What do you think of it? Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, Father, everything is beautiful. It is the most beautiful red fire in the world.
All right, I said to him, you can take your old job as...
I'm ready to read you the new play, Miss Wellington. Anytime you are.
Just a minute, dearie. Just a minute.
The only thing is, and I hope you won't mind my mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you, Miss Wellington? I'm just asking, of course.
I'm glad you brought it up. Once a play opens, I never touch a drop. The minute I enter a stage door, the bottle gets put away. Until intermission.
Oh, have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life. I've played everything. Ever see Peg of My Heart?
Yes.
I saw it too. Good show. My, hot night, ain't it?
Do you want me to open the window, Miss Wellington?
Nah, to hell with the weather. Say, he's cute.
She's just acting me, but that's all. She don't mean anything.
Anytime you're ready, Miss Wellington, we'll go up to my room and start. I thought we'd read the play up in my room.
All right, dearie. I'm ready. When I see snakes, it's time to lay down.
Oh dear, Miss Wellington, those are real! Those are grandpas, those are real! Miss Wellington, I hope you're not going to... Miss Wellington?
She is out like a light.
You better let her sleep it out.
Reba, Miss Wellington just passed out.
Good.
Do you think she'll be all right?
Yeah, but I would cast her in the religious play.
Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait.
Next time you meet an actress on the top of a bus, Penny, I think you should send to the play instead of bringing her home to read it.
And I wish you'd stop printing and take those love dreams around. You've got to get back in time to play for me when Kalenkoff comes.
Oh, Kalinkov's coming tonight.
Yes, tomorrow night's his night, but we had to change it on account of Alice.
Oh, big doings going on here tomorrow night, huh?
Isn't it exciting? I'm so nervous you'd think it was me he was engaged to instead of Alice.
What do you think they'll be like anyway, his mother and father? And what are you doing now?
Penny, you see the mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
Don't tell me now, Ed. Wait a minute. Helen of Troy.
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
You know, the good thing about these mechanostats is you can make so many different things with them. Last week, it was the Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
Look, Mr. DePina, would you open the door and see if there's a man standing in front of the house?
Why? What for?
Well, the last 2 days, when I'm about to deliver candy, I think a man's been following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. He follows me, and he stands and watches the house.
Really? I'll take a look and see.
I don't know what anybody would follow you for, Ed.
Well, there's been a lot of kidnapping recently, Grandpa.
Yes, but not of Ed.
Well,
There's nobody out there at all.
you're sure?
Positive. I just saw him walk away.
You see?
Oh, it might have been anybody walking along the street. Will you hurry and get back up?
All right.
Hey, you want to go down now, Mr. Sycamore, and finish packing up the fireworks?
Oh yeah, we've got to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow a piece of paper? I'm making out a list for Reba tomorrow night.
Yes, dear.
Ouch!
Damn spot, I would say.
Why, what's happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
No, well, she's not acting. She's really drunk.
Oh, Essie dear, you're going to give Reba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Of course, Alice. I'm going to start some mushrooms now, so I'll be way ahead.
Thanks, dear. Look, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter, and the snakes, and the xylophone, and the printing press.
And Miss Wellington.
And Miss Wellington? That'll give me time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
Well, the Kirby's are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this house.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think we'd better have cocktails ready by 7:15, in case they happen to come a little early. I wonder if I ought to let Reba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
Oh, no need to worry, Alice. From what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure his parents are very nice people. And if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow, that's all right, too.
Well, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend we're anything that we aren't. I just want everything to go off well.
No reason why it shouldn't, Alice.
We're all going to do everything we can to make it a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you so much. You are the best family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anybody could be so happy. Why, this past week has been like floating. Oh, he's so wonderful, Grandpa. Just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him, huh? Just seeing him for lunch and dinner and until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then at 9 o'clock the next morning, you're at the office and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba.
Nice, isn't it? Nice seeing her so happy.
Yes. I remember when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
I know. Nice the way Ed and Essie get along too, isn't it?
And Donald and Reba, even though they're not married.
Huh?
Do you think Mr. DePina will ever marry anyone, Grandpa?
Oh, there's always Miss Wellington.
Dear. I wish you'd wake up if we're to read the play tonight.
Mrs. Sycamore, look at what I found.
Of course! It's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandpa.
I remember it. Say, you've gotten a little bald, haven't you, Mr. DePina?
Well, is it very noticeable? There's still some there.
Oh, it was a long time ago, Mr. DePina. Just before I stopped painting. Let me see. That's 8 years.
Too bad you never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore.
I was meant to finish it, Mr. DePina. It's just that I started writing a play one day, and that was that. I just never painted it again.
Well, just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
My goodness. Who would have thought that day I came to deliver the ice that I was going to stay here for 8 years?
The milkman was here 5 ahead of you.
Say, Why did he leave anyhow? I forget.
He didn't leave, he died.
Yes.
He was such a nice man. Remember the funeral, Grandpa? We never knew his name.
What was the name we finally made up for him?
Well, for the certificate, we put down Martin Vanderoff. We gave him your name.
Oh, that's right, I remember.
Yes, it really was a lovely thought. Otherwise, he never would have got all those flowers.
It certainly was, and it didn't bother me any. Not being bothered with mail anymore, and I haven't had a telephone call from that date to this.
Yes, it really was a wonderful idea.
I wish you finished that sometime, Mrs. Sycamore. I kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mr. DePinna? I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Oh, say, will you?
Well, I don't think she's going to wake up anytime soon. Look, Mr. DePinna, go down in the cellar and put on your costume. And look for the easel. Is it still down there?
I think so.
I wonder where I have my palette and brushes.
Ah, Rabishka, my little Rabishka!
Good evening, Mr. Kalenkov. Essie's in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Grandpa, tell me, what should I do about Rabishka? I keep telling you she will make a great donut, sir. But she laughs, all right?
No, sir, Mr. Kalenkov. I couldn't get up on my toes. I got corns.
Rabishka, you could wear diamonds. Oh. A great girl, Grandpa. What is that?
It's a picture of Mr. DePinna. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
I know. How do you like that?
What is that?
She's an actress, friend of Penny's.
Dagger, I see before me.
She is drunk, no?
She's drunk, yes. How are you, Mr. Kalenkov?
Ah, magnificent. Life is chasing around inside me like a squirrel.
Thanks, huh? How are things in Moscow? Any new word from your friend in Moscow?
Ah, I've heard from him. I sent for you this time.
Ah, thanks, Kalenkov.
They have sent him to Siberia.
Ah, how's he like it?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He will get them. They will not get him yet. I tell you, I could take Stalin and the whole Soviet government and just... Ah!
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Kalenkov. I'll get into my dancing clothes right away.
Tonight, we shall really work, Pavlova. Tonight, we shall take something new.
Has she making any progress, Kalenkov?
Confidentially, she stays.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle Reba, Mr. Kalenkov. She's laughing her head off out there.
She is a great woman. Donald, tell me, what do you think about the Soviet government?
What?
I withdraw the question. What do you think about this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, yes, and you like it?
Oh, yes, sir. I like it fine. Only thing is you gotta go down to the place every week to get it. Sometimes you gotta stand in line pretty near half an hour to get it. Government ought to work better than that, don't you think, Grandpa?
Well, government ought to stop sending me letters. They want me to be at the United States Marshal's office 10:30 Tuesday morning. Look at that.
Ah, income tax. They've got you now, Grandpa.
Yeah, I'm supposed to give them a lot of money. I have to keep Donald on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You gonna pay from now on?
Well, that's what they want.
So I can come right here and get it instead of standing in that line?
No, Donald, I'm afraid you're going to have to waste a full half hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. Breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in a line. A bread line. What they have done to Russia. Think of it. The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina, the cousin of the Tsar. She is waitress in child's restaurant. I ordered baked beans from her only yesterday. Broke my heart. Crazy world, Grandpa.
Oh, the world's not so crazy, Kalenkov. It's the people in it. Life is pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax in times like these?
Well, if they'd relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's just my point. Trouble is, people forget that. Life is pretty simple if you let it come to you. I know I forgot all about that. I was right there in the thick of it. Fighting, scratching, clawing, regular jungle. And one day it kind of struck me I wasn't having any fun.
So what did you do?
Just relaxed. 35 years ago that was, and I've been a happy man ever since.
Good evening, Mr. Klenkoff.
My Alice, I have not seen you to present my congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
May you be very happy and have many children. That is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Love. Love is all that is left in this crazy world.
Yes, but there's plenty of that.
And soon, Stalin will take that away too. Hey, Grandpa!
It seems so good to get back into my art things. They still look all right, don't they, Grandpa?
Yes, indeed.
You're a breath of Paris, Madame Zita.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Klinkoff.
I didn't know you was working for the WPA.
Oh, no, Tom. It's just that I used to paint all the time.
It happened again. There's a fellow following me every place I went.
Nonsense, Ed. It's your imagination.
No, it isn't. This happens every time I go out to deliver candy.
Maybe he wanted a piece of candy.
Sorry for you to laugh, Grandpa, but it keeps following me.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everyone is followed. I was followed right out of there.
Of course. You see, Ed, the whole thing is just imagination.
Well,
Here we are.
Where do you want this? Over there?
Put it there, Mr. Depina.
And for tonight's lesson, we use the first movement of Scheherazade.
okay.
Mr. Depina, has something happened to your figure during these 8 years?
No, I don't think it's any different.
Oh, Miss Wellington? Yes, Miss Wellington?
Whoa.
Oh. Oh, dear. Oh, sorry, Mr. Klenkoff. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hot night in Pavlova, but art is only achieved through perspiration.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Klenkoff. Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but I think it matters to have a little talent to go along with it. I used to get bullseyes last night. I gotta do better than that.
You are ready? We begin. Go. Pirouettes. Pirouettes. You can do this. It has been 8 years now. Go. Oh. At last, entrechat. Entrechat. Oh. No, Grandpa. You cannot relax with Stalin in Russia. The Tsar relaxed and look what happened to him.
Well, he was too late.
Mr. Klenkoff? Mr. Klenkoff?
If he had not relaxed, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina would not be serving baked beans today.
Mr. Klenkoff!
I am sorry. We go back to pirouettes.
Could you pull your stomach a little, Mr. Dupin? That's right.
A little freer. A little freer with the hands now. The whole body must work. Come then. Help us with the music. The music must be free too.
Mrs. Sagamore! What, Reba?
Good evening.
How do you
Are we too early?
do? No, it's perfectly all right. We're glad to see you.
Yes! Of course! It's just that we thought it was to be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night?
What? No, it's perfectly all right. Make yourselves comfortable.
Tony, how could you possibly?
Really, Tony, this is most embarrassing.
I don't know.
No, it's quite all right. Why, we weren't doing a thing.
No, just a quiet evening at home.
Well, please, make yourself comfortable. And while you're there, I'm going to introduce you to Alice's mother, Mrs. Sycamore.
What do you do?
Alice's sister is Carmichael, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Kalikoff, and Mr. Dependent.
How do you do? Don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Mr. Dependent, would you go downstairs and get Mr. Sycamore? Tell him Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here.
Be sure to put his pants on. And I'll tell Alice that you're here. Alice! Alice dear! Oh, would you come down a minute? We have a surprise for you. Well,
May I take your wrap, Mrs. Kirby?
Well, thank you. If you're perfectly sure that we're not. Oh!
Oh, don't be alarmed, Mrs. Kirby.
Thank you.
They're perfectly harmless. And take them into the kitchen.
of course, we're just so used to them around the
I'm
house.
sorry to trouble you. It's just that snakes happen to be.
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you have done such a thing?
I don't know, Father. I thought it was tonight.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now anybody can get mixed up, Mr. Kirby.
Apparently these folks came for dinner. How about getting them some dinner?
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not very hungry.
Oh, but it's not a bit of a bother. Ed, tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Please don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
You could have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either will do.
Make it frankfurters and some Campbell's soup and canned corn. Got that, Ed?
Okay.
And tell Donald to hurry. The A&P is just at the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore, Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
Oh, I hope you'll forgive my appearance. Oh.
Well, this is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year. You see, just before the 4th of July, he always retires.
Alice. I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Why, Tony, I thought you... I'm so sorry, I can't imagine. I wasn't... Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Charlotte, you look lovely.
Of course she does. Please don't let this upset you, my dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
Of course.
But I was planning such a nice party tomorrow night.
Well, we'll come again tomorrow night.
There you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so, it's just that we better see about getting you some dinner.
Oh, that's all done, Alice. It's all been attended to.
Yes, Mother, but what do you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Of course it is, Alice. It's all right.
I asked him what he wanted, Alice.
Yes, but...
You know, it's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion. Perhaps you have stomach ulcers.
Don't be silly, Mr. Kalinkoff.
You mustn't mind Mr. Kalikoff. He's Russian. And Russians are inclined to look on the dark side.
I am a Russian, but my friend, a Russian, died of stomach ulcers.
Please, Mr. Kalinkoff. Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
Let him wait.
Mr. Kirby, please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Well,
So, Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we pretty well out of the depression?
What? Oh, yes, I think so. Of course, it all depends.
You feel things are going to start improving?
Broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is operating at 64% of full capacity, as against 82% in 1925. Of course, in 1929...
I got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. got the string around my finger. Whoa. Whoa. What a world. What a life. I'm in love.
Well, you might find that a bit strange, but she's not quite accountable for her actions. She's an actress, friend of Penny's. She came to dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Yes, that's it. I'm perhaps better go check and see if she's all right. Excuse me, please.
It is awfully hot. You usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby? Up in Maine.
As a rule. I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. That blue ribbon is the hot spot for you.
I won a ribbon at a flower show once for raising Essie. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
I think she'll be all right now. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
I'm sure he'll be right back, and it won't take a minute. I'm afraid you must be starved.
Oh, no, quite all right. Hello, what's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh, no, that's mine.
Really? Well, I suppose every man has his hobby, or do you use this as a model of some kind?
No, I just play with it.
I see.
Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know, they take 6 years before they blossom, don't they? Think of that.
Oh, some of them take even longer than that. I've got one coming along now that I've waited 10 years for.
Believe it or not, I was waiting for an orchid.
Yes. Of course, during that time, they require the most scrupulous care. I remember a bulb. I was very...
Donald! Oh, here we are. Did you get everything, Donald?
Yes, ma'am. Only they didn't have any Frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Oh, never mind that, Donald. Just bring everything into the kitchen. And Mr. Kirby, please tell them all about the orchids. I know they'd love to hear it. And, excuse me.
Kind of an expensive hobby, raising orchids.
Well, yes, it is. But I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it is never expensive.
Well, that's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. Lots of men I know own yachts, just for that very reason.
Why don't they leave Wall Street?
How's that?
I was just joking.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby, of course. To me, it's more than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism? Mrs. Kirby, now everyone knows that's a fake.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is... I'd rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Now remember, Penny, you've got one or two hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is as long as you have one.
Indeed, ideal. A hobby should improve the mind as well as the body. The Romans were a great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling! In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid that wrestling is not very practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a very good showing as a wrestler.
You will make a great wrestler. You have the build for it. Look!
Father, are you all right?
Where are my glasses?
Mr. Kirby, here they are. Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
When you wrestle again, Mr. Kirby, you will not wear silly glasses.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kolenkoff!
Father, will you sit down?
Mr. Kolenkoff, how could you do such a thing? Why did somebody stop him?
I think perhaps we better be going.
Mother,
Oh, Mrs. Kirby, please don't go. Mr. Kirby, please, I've ordered some scrambled eggs and plain salad for you. Please don't go.
Sorry if I did something wrong, and I apologize.
Really, Mr. Kirby, if I'd been here...
It's quite all right.
Of course it is. It's all right. Alice, we're not going.
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
What did I do? I threw them on the floor.
Did it kill him?
Please, Mr. I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now. Would you like some candy while you're waiting, Mr. Kirby? I've got some freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy, thank you.
Oh, but these are nothing, Mr. Kirby, just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
So, Essie, excuse me, what is it, Rita?
Eggs done fell down the sink.
Well, make some more.
Quick, I got me.
Send Donald out for some.
All right.
Tell him to hurry. I'm so sorry, there's been a slight delay, but everything will be ready in just a minute. Whoosh!
I've certainly put you people to a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
No, not at all, Tommy.
Look, why don't we all play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
Mother, I don't think that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby want.
I know a great trick with a glass of water.
Oh, but I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby would love this game. It's perfectly harmless.
Oh, please, Mother.
I am not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool can play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
Mother, Mr. Kirby doesn't want.
Oh, I love it. Here you are. Write your name on this piece of paper, Mr. Kirby. And Mrs. Kirby, you do the same on this one.
What is this game, Mother?
Oh, I used to play it at school. It's called Forget Me Not. Here you are, Grandpa. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words, just anything at all. And as I say each word, you're to put down the first thing that comes into your mind. Is that clear? For instance, if I call out grass, you might put down green. Just whatever you think of, see? Or if I call out chair, you might put down table. It shows the reactions people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father, be a sport.
Very well, I shall be happy to play it.
You see, Alice, he does want to play. Everybody ready?
Ready.
Now, remember, you must play fair. You must write down the first thing that comes into your mind.
I understand.
Everybody ready? Potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next one? Bathroom. Mother. Bathroom. Got that? All ready? Lust.
Mother, this is not exactly what you.
What nonsense, Alice? That word's all right.
Mother, it's not all right.
I don't know, it seems like a perfectly fair word to me.
You see, Alice, now you mustn't interrupt the game.
May I have that last word again, please?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I've got it.
Ooh, that's quite a game, isn't it?
Grandpa, all ready? Honeymoon. Classy. All right. The last word is sex. Mother. Everybody got sex? All right. Now give me all your papers. May I have your paper, Mr. Kirby?
What happens now?
Now is the best part. Now I read out all your reactions.
I see. It's really quite an interesting game.
Why don't you like it? I'll read your paper first, Mr. Kirby. I'm going to read Mr. Kirby's paper first. Everyone, this is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes, steak. That's very good, Mr. Kirby. You see how they go together, steak and potatoes?
I just happened to think of it.
Very good. Bathroom, toothpaste. Well, lust, unlawful. Isn't that nice? Honeymoon, trip. Yes. And sex, male. Oh, yes, of course you are. That's really a wonderful paper, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, thank you. It's more than just a game, you know. It's sort of an experiment in psychology, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It shows just how your mind works. And now, we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Everyone, this is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh dear. Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow that, my dear.
I don't know, I just thought of you in connection with it, is all. After all, you are in there a great deal, Anthony. Bathing and shaving and, well, you do take a long ride.
Indeed. I hadn't realized I had been selfish in the matter. Please go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
I think it's a very silly game, and we ought to stop it.
Yes.
No, please, go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Where was it? Oh yes, lust, human.
Human? Really, Miriam?
No, after all, lust is a human emotion.
I don't agree with you, Miriam. Lust is not a human emotion. It is depraved.
Very well, Anthony, I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions?
Yes.
No, I find this game rather interesting. Will you go on, Mrs. Sycamore? What was the next word?
Honeymoon.
Oh, yes. And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Honeymoon. Dull.
Did you say dull?
What I meant, Anthony, was that Hot Springs wasn't very gay that season. You know, all those old people sitting around on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
Times I recall.
Softness is only a game.
It's an illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, this one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Sex, Wall Street.
Wall Street! What do you mean by that, Miriam?
I don't know what I meant. Nothing.
But you must have meant something, Miriam, or you wouldn't have put it down.
It was just the first thing that came into my head, that's all.
But what does it mean, Sex, Wall Street?
I don't know what it means. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when we're... I don't know what I meant. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we didn't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me a headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes, perhaps we better postpone the dinner if you don't mind.
Oh, but you'll come tomorrow night, won't you?
Oh, I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we better postpone the whole affair a while in the hot weather.
I think you're being very ungracious, Father. Of course we'll stay to dinner. Tonight.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony.
What?
We were fools, Tony. Ever to think it would work. It won't. Mr. Kirby, I won't be at the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, my dear. Very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony.
Darling, you mustn't mind this.
Oh, it's been very nice to have met you all.
Yes, lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
I see. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. Good night!
Oh!
Stay right where you are. Everybody don't move.
What happened?
How dare you? Why? What does this mean?
What is this about?
I demand an explanation!
Keep your mouth shut, you. So, which one is it?
This one too.
What are you doing? Why?
This is an outrage!
Shut up. What's your name?
Edward Carmichael? I haven't done anything.
Why, this seems rather high-handed to me. What's it all about?
I'll tell you. Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, Jamin! What have you done?
I haven't done anything.
What's the board done, officer?
What is it? What's it about?
That door. Lead to the cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Mac. Jim.
Yes, sir.
Take a look upstairs. See what you can find.
Okay.
Come here, you.
I haven't done anything.
You ever seen these before?
They're my circulars.
You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you put them in a box of candy and get them into people's homes?
Oh, love dreams.
But I didn't mean anything.
You didn't, huh? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. Dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state is God! But I didn't mean that. I just like to print, don't I, Grandpa?
The government's in no danger from Ed. He likes to print things. He'll print anything.
He does, huh?
Oh, I never heard of such nonsense.
I refuse to take it.
Shut up, you! You were right, Chief! They got gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city!
But we only use them to
Still, everybody in this house is under arrest.
I just like it in the
Shut up, all of you.
Well, it seems to me, officer.
Shut up.
We're getting trouble.
Hey, you,
Come
stop
on,
that.
get happy. We're gonna take all
Who
the
is that?
fights away.
That is my mother.
Get happy. Get ready.
Line up, all of you.
We're going to the promised land.
For appearance in the West Side Court this morning. After spending the night in jail, the defendants, 13 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit.
Yeah, they kept me in the same cell with a strip teaser from a burlesque show.
I was in the same cell as Mr. Kirby. Man, he was mad.
Mrs. Kirby and the strip teaser, they were fighting all night.
A whole lot about Mr. Kirby in here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby Company, 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended, declared he was in no way interested in the manufacture of fireworks, but refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Racket Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, he certainly is a joiner.
All them rich men are ilks or something.
I suppose after all this, Mr. Tony ain't ever gonna marry Miss Alice, huh?
No, sir. It's too bad, too. Miss Alice sure loves that boy.
Ever notice how rich folks keep messing up?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not.
Me too.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that food out in the kitchen. Ain't gonna be a party tonight, that's for sure.
Ain't we gonna eat it anyhow?
Well, I'm cooking it, but I don't think anybody's gonna have an appetite.
I'm hungry.
Well, they ain't. They're all too broken up about poor Miss Alice.
What'd she go away for? Where's she going?
Oh, I don't know. Mountain someplace. She's going all right, no matter what they say. I know Miss Alice when she gets that look in her eye.
Too bad, ain't it?
It sure is.
Not even a balloon left. Look.
How's your hand, Mr. DePina? Bitter?
Yes, it's better. Hey, is there some more olive oil out there?
There's some in the salad bowl.
Oh, thanks.
Well, she's going. Nothing anyone could say would change her. She ain't gonna stay away long, is she, Mrs. Sycamore? I don't know. Maybe she won't say. I'm sure it's gonna be lonely around here without her.
How do you feel, Mrs. Sycamore?
Oh, I'm all right, Donald. Just kind of upset. Perhaps if I do some work, maybe I'll feel better.
Well, I won't bother you then, Mrs. Sycamore.
She's going, Penny.
Yes?
Now, Penny.
I can't help it, Paul. I feel like it's our fault.
It's mine more than yours, Penny. All these years I've just been enjoying myself. Maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Don't say that, Paul. You've been a wonderful father. And husband, too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I would have gone ahead and been an architect, I don't know, something that Alice could have been proud of. I really felt all that last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think it was, but I'm kind of all confused now.
What time is she going?
Pretty soon. The train leaves at 7:30.
Only Tony would talk to her. I'm sure he could persuade her.
But she won't, Penny. He's been trying all day.
Where is he now?
I don't know. I suppose walking around the block again. Anyway, she won't talk to him.
Maybe Tony could catch her when she's leaving.
We won't help Penny.
No, I don't suppose so. I feel so sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandma?
Now, Penny, leave the girl alone.
Grandpa?
Suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. She'll be back. Hell, you can take just so much Adirondacks and then you come home.
But it's all so terrible, Grandpa.
Yes, but there's also a brighter side, too.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into that patrol wagon for one thing. And I'll never forget the expression on his face when he and Donald had to take a bath together. I'll never forget that until I live to be 100. And I warn you people, I intend to if I can let things like that go on.
It was even worse with Mrs. Kirby when the matron stripped her. There was a burlesque dancer singing a strip song while Mrs. Kirby undressed.
I'll bet you Bob Hobbs is going to sing pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer. You need any help, Alice?
No thanks, Grandpa. I'm just going to press these.
Alice, dear.
I'll bring the big bag down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Thank you.
Do you want to take some candy along for the train, Alice?
No thanks, Essie.
Really, Alice, you can be just as alone here as you could in the mountains. You could stay up in your room all the time.
No, Mother, I want to be by myself, away from everyone. Look, I love you all, you know that, but I just have to go away for a while. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for a cab?
Oh, no, I didn't know you wanted one.
Oh, I told Mr. DePinna to tell you. Didn't he tell you, Paul?
Oh, he told me, but I forgot.
I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way other people's families do. I'm sick of cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people with roast beef and 2 green vegetables and doilies on the table and a place you can bring your friends to without...
I'll see if I can do anything.
Tony, talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Alice, won't you listen to me? Alice, please. You're not being fair, Alice.
Tony, it's no use.
At least let me talk to you.
Where'd they go?
Upstairs.
She walked right out the minute he came in.
Knocked the olive oil right out of my hand. I'm gonna smell kind of fishy.
How you feeling, Mr. DePinna? Hand still hurting you?
No, it's better. Everything burned up, huh? Downstairs? Everything. And my Roman costume, too.
I told you there was a bright side to everything. Oh, except my 23-year back income tax. I get another letter every day.
Say, what are you gonna do about that, Grandpa?
I don't know. I'm going to try something. It may not work, but I'm going to try it anyhow.
Well, what is it?
Good evening, everybody.
Why, Mr. Milikov?
Forgive me, the door was open.
Come on in.
I hope that you will excuse my coming today. I realize you are upset.
It's all right, Mr. Klinkov.
I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Poinkoff. I'm not feeling it.
Oh, but please do stay to dinner, Mr. Klinkov. We've got all that food out there. Somebody's got to eat it.
I will be happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Thank you. Now, I wonder if I know you people well enough to ask of you a great favor.
Why, of course, Mr. Klinkov. What is it?
You have heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes.
She is a great woman, the Grand Duchess. Her cousin was the Tsar of Russia. And today, she is waitress in Charles' restaurant, Times Square.
Yes, I know. If there's anything at all we can do, Mr. Klinkov.
No, she has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
She must be hungry.
And today is not only her day off, Thursday, but it is also the anniversary of a remarkable man, Peter the Great.
Mr. Klinkov, if you mean you would like the Grand Duchess to have dinner with us, why, we would be honored.
Oh, yes.
In the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
I can hardly wait to meet her. Where is she now?
She is outside in the street waiting. I bring her in.
Oh, straighten your tie, Ed. Essie, your dress.
If this keeps on, I'm gonna live to be 150.
The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. Your Highness, permit me to present to you Madame Sycamore, Madame Carmichael, Grandpa,
Madam,
Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Sycamore, and Mr. Debina.
all right now, Mr. Dependent.
Will you be seated, Your Highness?
Thank you. You're most kind.
It is an honor to receive you, Your Highness.
I am most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Well, I'm sure it'll be quite soon, Your Highness. Very soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you are on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolenkov.
You know, Highness, I think you waited on me in Childs once. The 72nd Street place?
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
I work at Times Square.
Quite a lot of you folks living over here now, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. There is my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He is an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie. He's in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs at Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you.
Oh, Kolenkov, that time has come. My sister, Natasha, she's studying to be manicurist. My uncle Sergei, they have promised to make a floor walker. Next month I get transferred to the 5th Avenue Childs. From there it is only a step to Schloss, and then we will see what Prince Alexis has to say.
I think you've got him.
You're telling me.
Your Highness, did you know the Tsar? Personally, I mean?
Of course, he was my cousin. It was terrible what happened. Perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda, that is the law.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he was very nice to us for about 10 years. Every once in a while, he would send us a money order. Then he said to me, I just cannot go on. I'm not doing so well myself. I do not blame him.
No, of course not. Would you excuse me for a moment, please?
Tell me, Grand Duchess, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Rasputin.
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Oh yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is a communist.
We'll hurry things up. See, will you go in the kitchen and see if you can help Reba?
I will help too. Oh, I am a very good cook.
Oh, but Your Highness, not on your day off.
We do not mind. Where is your kitchen?
Right through here, but you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
Oh, but I love to cook. Come, Kolenkov. If they have got sour cream and hot cheese, I will make you some blintzes.
Come, Pavlova, we show you something.
Say, the Duchess is something else, isn't she? I say, Duchess, can I help?
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, hasn't she?
She really is a wonderful woman, considering she's a Grand Duchess.
Wonderful how they can live the way they do and still be kind of gay too.
She almost made me forget about everything for a minute.
I better call that cab, I suppose.
Oh, no, wait, Paul, here they come.
Ed, will you go up and bring my bag down?
Don't you do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
All right, Ed, bring it down.
You know you've got the stubbornest daughter in all 48 states?
That must be the cab.
If it is, it's certainly wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes, he is. Come in, Mr. Kirby. Good evening.
Good evening.
How do you do?
Forgive my intruding. Tony, I want you to come home with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as painful to Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is to you people. But I'm sure you understand.
Yes, but in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives, but the fact is, these two young people don't have enough sense to, as much sense as like you or I have.
Grandpa, will you please not
I'm
do this?
talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't he?
You want me to do that for you, Alice?
No thanks, Mother.
You've got quite some time before the train goes, Alice.
Will you send a cab to 761 Claremont right away, please? That's right. Thank you.
Alice?
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Now, I suppose after last night, you think this family's kind of crazy.
No, I wouldn't say that. Although I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and then spending the night in jail.
Well, you gotta remember, you came on the wrong night. Now, tonight, I'll bet you nothing at all will happen. Maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this marriage would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know what your father means, and he's right.
No. He's not, Alice.
Alice, you're not gonna marry this boy because we're the kind of family we are.
Grandpa.
No, I understand. You think the families wouldn't get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't. But who's to say they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that, Grandpa. I only feel...
I feel that Tony is too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes. Mixed up and unhappy the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I am a very happy man.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Certainly I am.
No, I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, so you get it because you keep doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything that I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. You said last night that after a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep doing it?
Oh, I keep doing that is my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That is a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I have spent my entire life building up my business.
And what has it got you? Same kind of mail every morning, same kind of deals, same kind of meetings, same meals at night, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in? You must have wanted more when you first started out. There's got to be something more. We don't have much time, you know. Any of us.
What do you expect me to do? Live the way you do? Do nothing?
I have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit a zoo now and then, practice my darts. Even time to notice when spring comes around. I don't see people I don't have to, and I don't have to spend 6 hours doing things I don't like to do in order to get the 1 hour to do what I like it. And I haven't had bicarbonated soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that?
What's the matter with that? Suppose we all did that. A fine world we'd have, everybody going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There's always people who do the work because they like it. Adventures and they fly the ocean. There are also people that go down to Wall Street too because they like it. But what I've seen from you, I don't think you're one of them. I think you're missing something.
I am not aware of missing anything.
Neither was I until I quit. I used to get up every morning at 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt. Lay awake nights for fear I wouldn't get that contract. Used to worry about the world too. Was worried about whether Cleveland or Blaine were going to be elected president. Seemed awfully important at the time, but who cares now? What I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that I've had 35 years and nobody can take away from me. No matter what they do to the world, see?
Yes, I do see. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American. And that's why I am opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
What's the matter with it? Well, it's downright communism, that's what it is.
You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so because there was a time when you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh, yes, you did. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandfather. Do you remember those?
No! How dare you read those letters? How dare you!
Why, isn't that wonderful? Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
Certainly not! The whole thing is absurd. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player.
Tony!
Didn't you? And at 21, you ran away from home because Grandfather wanted you to go into the business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well.
I may have had some foolish notions in my youth, but thank God my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and forgot all about them.
Not altogether, Father. There's still a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There is.
It's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
No. I want to talk about it now. I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going on with it. And I'll tell you something else. I didn't make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night, and I brought you here on purpose.
Tony, well, for heaven's sake.
Because I wanted you to wake up. I wanted you to see a real family as they really were. A family that loved and understood each other. You don't understand me. You've never had the time. Well, I'm not going to make your mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
Tony, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. But at least I'll be doing something I want to do.
That must be the cab.
Ask him to wait a minute, Ed.
Grandpa.
Do you mind, Alice? Mr. Kirby, Tony's going through what you and I did when we were his age. I think if you listen hard enough, you can hear yourself saying the same thing to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. How many of us would settle when we're young for what we eventually get? All those plans, what happens to them? I can only say that some of us only came close. So before you clear out that closet, I suggest you get a few good hours in on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon. Before I make the balances, how many will there be for dinner?
Your Highness, may I present Mr. Anthony Kirby, Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
How's that?
How do you do? Before I make the balances, How many will there be for dinner?
Well, you can't ever tell. Just make quite a stack of them, Your Highness.
Good. The Tsar always said to me, Olga, do not be stingy with the blintzes.
Who did you say that was again, Mr. Vanderhoff?
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. She's cooking the dinner.
Oh.
Speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do, Mr. Kirby. We've got all that stuff we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
Looks like a good dinner, Mr. Kirby.
How about
It'll give us a chance to get acquainted. Why don't you stay?
How about it, Father? Are we staying for dinner?
Why, if you would care to, Tony, I'd like that very much.
Now, if Alice would send away that cat, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Come on, Alice. It's going to be a nice crowd. Don't you think you understand it, Jimmy?
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know one another, don't you think?
Mr. Kirby. Tony.
Darling.
Grandpa, you are wonderful.
I've been telling you that for years.
Grandpa, here's a letter for you. It was in the icebox.
That government again.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Kirby?
How do you do?
Well, if you step into the office, Miss Sycamore, I'd like to get a little technical till I can.
What is it, Grandpa?
The government apologizes. Seems like I don't owe them a nickel. I've been dead for 8 years.
Why, what do they mean, Grandpa?
Remember Charlie the milkman who was buried under my name?
Yes.
I told them they made a mistake. That I was really Martin Vanderhoff Jr. So they apologized and they're going to give me a refund.
Grandpa, you're an old crook.
Yes, sir.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. How did you say you escaped the income tax?
Tonight, my friends, you shall eat.
Hello there.
How do you do?
Fine. Glad to see you.
What has happened?
He's relaxing. Go ahead, Ed, play something.
Everything will be ready in a minute. You can sit down.
Come on, everybody, dinner!
You like Russian food, Mr. Kirby.
Come on, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, yes, I'm coming.
As you stop dancing, come to dinner. You must be careful of your indigestion.
Nonsense, I haven't any indigestion.
Don't shake.
Quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, here we are again. We want to thank you for everything you've given us. And we are certainly much obliged. Seems to be going on pretty well. Alice and Tony are going to get married, and it looks like they're going to be very happy. Of course, the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePinner's fault, not yours. Of course, we have our health. As far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Grandpa, I wrote my friend and said,
Mr. Kirby.
yes.